Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Jane of Amethyst Living, and today I'm welcoming Annette O'Donnell to this Secret Spirit broadcast. Now, as you know, I'm embarking on a number of conversations in this series called The Secret Spirit, and I'm really looking to have a kind of fireside chat with people about what makes them tick, how they got to where they are, what they do, what the kind of if people want to talk about it, what the kind of beliefs are that drive them, what makes them get excited about the work that they do. So I'm really thrilled to be able to welcome you here this morning, Annette, to talk about your work, working as a light worker, working with angel art, and I think we can see some of your angel art behind you.
Yeah.
And one of them, and one of them is kind of framing you as a sort of halo behind you. That looks really beautiful. So, just welcome to everyone who watches this live today, or joins us on the replay. If you're watching live, you can post comments, and I should be able to see them. There might be time at the end, I'm not sure, for you to ask Annette some questions, or you can post comments, ask things as we go along. So, welcome once again, Annette, and it's really good to talk to you. We've been having a little chat just now before we went live, and you've been telling me about your work and the things that you offer. And you offer some really beautiful sounding stuff to people. You offer channeled angel art. You work with sound frequency, in particular with a harp, which I can just see behind you there, the top of the harp. And I think you've just got some chimes as well. I think I saw you had a post on Facebook. I'm just wondering if you'd like to talk a little bit about this work that you do and tell us more about how you came to be doing what sounds like beautiful work.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jane. Is the feedback okay? The volume, you can hear it okay? Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me to this conversation, because I would never, ever, ever have dreamed of the life that I am living years and years and years ago. Because in my 20s, I was a married mother with 3 children, very three-dimensional, very normal, the usual life everyone has. And I never even dreamed or believed in angels or energy or spirits or healing. I never would have even crossed my mind or understood what that meant and where it came from. But I had a series of big illnesses in my 20s, and one was I had a life-threatening cancer in the head. So in my late 20s, I had to have plastic surgery, and it resulted in me being mute, completely mute verbally for quite a while. It's amazing when you have your voice and your expression taken away from you, you're living inside you, and it's just a strange place to be, because you learn to hear better, see better, and you kind of you're exposed to a world that doesn't involve communication. So you can either, I suppose, shrink and freak and worry and fear, or you can explore that inside you. And what happened was, in that period of time being mute, I had this amazing spiritual awakening. It was a period of time where I was having issues with my health and my marriage as a result of the health problem. And my heart was almost broken at the fact that I was so ill and life wasn't going as I wanted it. So, long story short, one random day, my daughter, who was, I don't know how old she was at the time, she was probably about 9 or 10, she had pneumonia, and my husband wasn't here at the time. We were about to divorce at that point. And my heart was so broken, and I was so sad, so deeply sad, that I wasn't sure how I was going to move forward in life with all the complications around my health and my children I had. And this one day, Jane, amazing bright light appeared in front of me in my bedroom. Now, it was bright light, brighter than a flash lamp on a photography studio, brighter than the sun, just a white light. And I was laying in my bed thinking, oh my gosh, this light feels so loving. It felt like it was enveloping me. I felt like I was the light. And remember, being my 20s, I never would have even understood what angels were, what spirit was, what divine was. I didn't know any of that. So I just lay in my bed and felt the most overwhelming sense of love and protection. And Jane, it was almost like every cell in my body was being painted with love. It just felt so beautiful. So I felt immediately safe and protected. And this white light envelops my whole room, envelops me. I was part of this white light. Completely crazy, I know, but it's so vast, so profound. And I got all these messages, not a voice, but just a knowing that I was to transfer that energy through art, blindfolded. Now, you probably think, what? How can you paint blindfolded? But the whole issue and the whole experience was about me being mute with all my surgery. I was in a place where I couldn't. This energy, this divine, which I think learned to work with, this angel energy, came through, and I was a person to channel that energy through art with a blindfold. And with a blindfold on, you've got that ego, you can't control. You can't say, oh, that doesn't look right, that's not, you can't alter, because when it's not visible, you just trust your hands and trust the art. So this sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? But I did what I was told. I bought some very large art canvas, plain ones, let's say that way, and I threw art on the canvas blindfolded, moved my hands, and then within time, I looked at the artwork, and it was all a portal circle with shapes coming through. And what's evolved over the last few years is these shapes are healing vibrations and frequencies coming through the art to heal people. So if I sit aside here, we've got one here, which is Archangel Gabriel and Raphael. And how do I know that? Because I tune in and receive messages and healings and guidance from the frequencies of the angel angelic realm. So this is one I've got plenty that I've done over the years. In fact, they've evolved over time. People have asked me to do commissions for their monasteries, their churches, their hospices, their hospitals, and a lot of the work that I bring through and the images and the healing has a purpose that I'm invited to share it with at the time. So yeah, my life has just taken off in the most amazing way with the angels, because I think being passionate about art before I was ill and then mute, I was the perfect vessel to bring through the healing. So that is a major part of my life, is angelic healing. And that's many.
Yeah. And I suppose there's a couple of things I want to reflect on there in what you said. But the first one is, I suppose, possibly the first bit of angelic healing that happened was for you yourself in the work that you started doing, that this was part of your healing process initially.
Absolutely. I kind of learned as I went through the direction, but the colours themselves heal, don't they? So green is a beautiful healing colour, and pink is the heart sample colour. I've learnt this on the path with modalities, but also through the directions I've been given. But it was initially, you're right, to heal me, because I was in trouble today. I had a really serious cancer diagnosis, and it resulted in me having to sacrifice half of my time to live. So the whole surgery, the whole experience, physically, I needed healing, obviously, but emotionally and spiritually, it's such a profound experience when you lose so much through illness. People watching here might have experienced illness and having had a loss of some point of their faculties or even their job or their relationships. It's such a loss when you have to overcome such a shocking illness. But then the other side is I wouldn't be doing any of this without the illness. So then you know that things happen for us. They always happen for us, not to us. So I've learned quite early on that you just embrace and deal with what's happening in your life, whatever area of life is being affected by adversity. And there's always a message or a direction or a plan as part of it. So, yeah, before the angel work, before my illness, I was a high-flying TV producer, zipping around the world, making programs, having a wonderful life, all about communication, all about theatre and art and creativity and drama. But, so in my 20s, that was my life. And then this hit, the illness, the cancer. So with some people who think, oh my gosh, what a terrible trauma, how, you know, your whole life was over. But no, my life began. Life began the minute I opened my heart and accepted the fact that I was being approached by an energy far greater than us, Jane. I mean, you know, when you meditate and do your meditation classes, that it's happening to source, it's happening to all sorts of universal energies. So I feel blessed, crazy as it sounds, I feel absolutely blessed that I had that life experience, because look what's evolved. My life is full of creativity, healing, and hope. My whole life purpose about hope for people through mindset, through energy, through art, through music, which I can show you soon. Frequency of everything is so important in our lives. We are all energy, and I think if your frequency and vibration is not in optimal health or balance, then you might experience difficulties. So I adore helping people rebalance and connect with an energy which is greater than them, but helps balance them. So yeah, I can talk about this forever. I love it.
No, it's fine. Please go on. It's all good. Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story before we move on. I am in 2000, when was it? 12. There was a portal that opened up over Lourdes in France. And as you know, Lourdes in France is the healing centre of the world. I was asked by someone to go out to Lourdes that summer, and connect with the energies that I connect with, and paint a live healing artwork in a monastery. And the arrangement was that I fly out there, I stay there, I have this beautiful artwork, I bring to wherever energies are around to help heal the portal. And I was raffle the picture for charity. So that was a really lovely thing to do. Give back to the local area, the artwork and the money and the funds. So I went there and I did this most amazing channeling, blindfolded in a monastery. In the artwork came through some beautiful energies from Metatron, Raphael, all the archangels that some people might have heard about. And after the event, I took a deep breath and wandered around the streets of France, just trying to relax, and I put a message out and just said, please show me a sign that I'm in the right place at the right time and that my work is of value at this moment in time. Now, lots of market, and there's old clothes and old buckets and a really old titty-tatty market. And I saw this silver bucket, and out of this bucket, I saw this chain hanging. This one chain. To the high, I said, combien for this chain? And he said, oh, €12, €3. So I paid for it. I thought, I just love this beautiful chain, because on the end of it, I saw this. Now, I don't know if your hammer can pick this up. Let's see if it can.
Yeah. I'm not.
It is. This is shocking. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
This is an original healing pendant from the Lourdes nurses, and it's over 120 years old. Jane, this was in a bucket of broken crockery, all sorts of rubbish. But it was speaking to me because that was my sign. That was my sign. That I was in the right place at the right time. So can you imagine how many people have been healed in Lourdes in the last 120 years with this pendant, the healing pendant? And on the back is literally two angels.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Other way, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically,
Wow. What a
I'm
sign.
just saying, when you allow yourself to be open to receive and perceive energy and messages, I have been, these sort of signs happen.
Hmm.
I mean, this is very valuable, I'm sure, financially, but I would never ever say it because it's such a connection for me to the energetic frequency that I want to work with. So that happened
Yeah.
in 2012. Since then, I've done loads of artworks and run workshops to help people themselves connect with the energy and loved ones, because sometimes in the artworks, when I do workshops, their energies come through and they're part of the artwork. You see just silhouettes and all sorts in there.
Uh-huh.
So that
So
is,
you, mhm. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Annette, go on.
that's it. So that's amazing.
So you also, as well as creating these artworks, um, a couple of which we see behind you, you also run workshops for people to create their own. Is that right? Or are you? Yeah. You
Yeah,
do.
what I do
Do
is I run Paint with Angel workshops, been doing them for years and years in the
right.
local area, but I also ran special retreats in Lourdes. I would take people out to Lourdes, would stay in a beautiful venue, and then they'd paint live in Lourdes with the holy water from Lourdes and put the water in the art and raise the frequency of the art.
I see. Yeah.
Um, with the water. So I've done that. Obviously, not in recent times because of all the issues with
Yes.
travel. That's not happening. But my main passion is just to explore with people the possibility that if they allow themselves to be open to receive, they can connect with and transfer the most beautiful healing energy ever through art, through their hands on the picture. And they have, this is why I can't draw, I can't paint. Honestly, that's perfect. People that draw and paint are so meticulous about detail. They could never do this because they're, oh, that doesn't look
Yeah.
right. But what happens is when you throw paint blindfolded on a canvas and then you open your eyes and look, because you've requested the presence of that spirit, that angel, that energy on the canvas, then you see the shapes that come through. You think, oh my gosh, that's an angel, that's a angel is here, there's an animal spirit here, there's all sorts of things that come through the artwork. So I do offer, when time allows, the space and the opportunity for people to experience this.
I think so. Yeah. So you do this for people, and you facilitate it for people who want to try this for themselves as well. I think there was something else you said right back at the beginning that I also wanted to reflect on, and that is the fact that this spiritual awakening you were talking about really happened when you were cut off from all communication. So you couldn't speak. You had no, I think you said you had no kind of facial expression either at that time. And I found this really intriguing because, in the ancient sort of bardic traditions in Celtic countries, the people who were thought to be the best bards were often usually blind, I think, actually. But the point was that when you lost one sense, you gained with the others. And you actually did say something like that. You said you became very, very aware of sound and other ways of communicating. And I think, although the sense that you lost and it was only temporary, um, wasn't the one of sight, although you do in fact blindfold yourself. It seems to be very much in that kind of bardic and inspired tradition that you're working.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, you say I didn't lose my sight, but believe it or not, about 3 years after the cancer experience and the surgery and the tracheotomy, all that kind of stuff, I did wake up blind. I woke up one day blind, and my immediate thought was, oh dear, It must be a response to the head cancer. So I had all the tests done, went to hospital, had the neurological team check me out, and they took a spinal fluid sample from my spine 3 years later and said, we're really sorry to inform you that you have multiple sclerosis and you have temporary blindness and optic neuritis. So anybody else that is watching this that's familiar with optic neuritis or MS, MS actually attacks your body in different parts, randomly. So it might be eyesight, might be walking, you might have numbness, whatever. So I did have that a few years after the mouth cancer, and they did say to me that they're really sorry, but they are assuming that I contracted MS from a blood transfusion in the original surgery, because back in 1994, when I had the surgery, they weren't screening for multiple sclerosis or autoimmune diseases in the blood. So the blindness happened, and when it returned, so it's temporary, again it's temporary, my sensitivity to colour and frequency and vibration was highlighted. So it really amplified even more what I was experiencing. So you're absolutely right that sometimes through adversity comes magic. A heightened magic.
Yes, I think that's so true. I mean, that was my own experience, not as dramatic as yours, but being in a job that I thought was the job for me in my 20s, and it sort of was, then getting iller and iller, just anxiety and depression. And then one day just finding I could no longer do that work. And through working through that, then discovering that there was another angle to life. And like you, I'd had a sort of spiritual awakening, but this happened to me when I was about 10. And when you're 10, you can't really tell anybody about it. You can't, there's no way to sort of find the words to discuss it or tell people about it. So it wasn't until I, like you, came up against a form of adversity in my life. And I think those moments, well, they may not be moments, they may be quite prolonged times, but I think it is these moments that make us or break us. They're either going to make us so ill that we can't function, or from it breaks the mold, and from that something new and beautiful emerges. And I think that's your story, sir. Absolutely, is what I'm hearing. And like you, although mine is not as dramatic, before we started this live broadcast, you were saying, I'm living the life I dreamed of. It's more than I could have dreamed. And I have that sense about my life too. I think that's part of this journey, isn't it? That if you're not broken by it, you're absolutely made by it. And it introduces you to a way of life that just can't quite be comprehended when you're living the kind of everyday, I think you called it 3-dimensional earlier, life. Yeah.
So people you meet, I mean, from all my illness issues, I spontaneously, madly enough, met the most amazing people on that path. I met a Reiki healer after my surgery. I didn't know what Reiki was. I thought, well, what does Reiki mean? How do you mean you bring healing through your hands onto people? But I tried it, and it really helped with my recovery. And I became so in love with Reiki and the energy and the whole experience of feeling wellness like magic with someone doing the positions on your body, that I became a Reiki master. So I trained in that, and then I used Reiki in my hands in my art. So the modalities, you meet people and modalities and healing ideas you meet along the way in your recovery, it's a magic, isn't it? In my 20s, I was a film person, so I was very three-dimensional. It was all about excitement, glamour, TV, celebrities. It was all that, which was lovely. In my 20s, I loved it. But as I said to you earlier, I'm in my 50s now. Will I do that? No way now, because my life's not about ego and glamour and TV, and it was exciting in the 20s. And now I'm really embracing life where I'm feeling I'm sensing, I'm experiencing every type of energy you can ever have in this life through art, through music. I'm actually on a Bob Proctor training course at the moment. Bob Proctor is a mindset guru person, fantastic kind of teachings and experience. I'm learning that your mindset and your thoughts create your experience. So again, I'm on another channel, another direction in life where I'm incorporating all that I've learned, all that I've experienced in helping others change their story, change their mindset, and create the life that they want. And I truly have 100% created the most magical life that I could ever want now. But you never know that. Whereas years ago, I've never thought I could even do that or even have a concept of that involved. So it is absolutely amazing.
I mean, life is a sort of is a creative process, and I don't think. And I was talking about this to my previous in my previous conversation with Claire Higgins, who's a possibility coach, a life coach. But we're just led to believe when we are young that there is a sort of straight down the middle kind of way of living. But when you do open up to all these further possibilities, or you have them opened up to you, life becomes so rich and textured and so worthwhile. It is kind of beyond the imaginings of the kind of what you were calling the three-dimensional life, and it is quite it is remarkable. It is remarkable.
I think when you're in that 3D life, we all are when we first here, well, very few people are born away from, but you always think coincidences happen, and they just happen. It's just a coincidence that just happened. But the more you learn to delve into the outside world of energy and possibility, you realize that coincidences aren't that. They are many times an opportunity to expand your understanding, experience, and knowledge. So serendipity comes in, the people you meet, the people you attract. I think you attract your vibe frequency-wise. So if you're in a really kind of open, positive environment, you attract the right people, you attract your tribe, don't you? So I think my friend groups, my friend associates have changed dynamics over the years because I've changed so much, they've changed so much. It's all wonderful and beautiful, but it's a different frequency that I'm living in now. And I'm just so excited because you never know who will come into your life, what opportunity, what you'll unveil through opening up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a truly creative way to live because every moment is being consciously created and not just sort of happening to you. So it's a very dynamic way of living, really, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to allow yourself to be open to that. Just allow yourself. Some people doing this might not know how they start with all this, but really, Jane, your meditation whole concept and roots, that's like a portal to a world of exploring, isn't it? Your own mind and everything around you. So there's always something to start, and reaching out to people that you feel their energy and you want to know more about their energy. That's the way to start, isn't it? I think that's how I start.
Yes. I think to sort of inquire and follow things that seem appealing. And the word I always used to use was gripping. If I'm gripped by something, then I'm going to find out more. And, or I'm really moved by something, then I'm going to follow that and I'm going to find out more about that. And I think that is the way to certainly to begin and probably to how to keep going as well, I think. There's no doubt about that. But one thing I want to ask you about, Annette, is you were talking about your music, and I know you have your harp there and your chimes there. I'm wondering if you would allow us to hear something of the healing music that you use in your work, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been painting the angel artworks for some years, some time, and I had a kind of guided message that I needed to have sound healing within the art workshops. I thought, I'm not quite sure what
Ah,
the sound would be ideal. So I was instructed to look for high frequency, obviously high frequency sound that would connect with the frequency of the art. So I, by coincidence, lots, I found someone on the internet who handmade healing harps. I thought, oh my gosh, a harp that heals. Really? Does that exist? So I found her, I spoke to her, and she made the harp. I'll explain the harp to you because it is a handmade healing harp.
oh yes, it's yeah,
And down here is a
yeah.
massive vaping like trellis hole here. And this is
Hmm.
deliberately in the instrument because when you play it on your chest,
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
if you play it on your chest, I don't play it, I heal people, so I don't play it on myself as much. But when you play the sound, it vibrates through this hole and the top one here for your thymus, and it goes through your chakras. So this is a
Ah,
something heart. I'm aware that when I'm playing this, low tones are for the root chakra, high tones are for the third eye, the up here, the throat chakra.
hmm,
It balances your chakras and it helps heal the energy that might be out of alignment in your chakras, and that reflects in your health and your emotions and everything else, life as it is. So I was so overwhelmed, thinking, "Oh my God, I found the perfect instrument to accompany the artwork." So I do this quite a bit. I see clients and I bounce their chakras and play the harp, which is absolutely amazing. There's 33 separate notes here, and
hmm.
I haven't learnt to play the harp. People say, "Well, how can you play that?" I haven't learnt it. It's an intuitive way of expressing the sound from the harp. So I just tune in. Often I close my eyes. I just feel the notes and play what's needed for the client or customer. So it is a beautiful sounding harp. I can play something a moment actually, and
Mm.
this is a demonstration. The chimes which are here are very
Hmm.
recent. I bought them literally a few days ago. These
Yeah.
are they're the last sets available to buy, and I found them in Russia.
Oh wow.
I ordered them from Russia. They arrived from Russia with love last week, and these are pure crystal chimes. So the frequency from the sound of this, which I'll play soon, is so elevated. It's almost a magical, surreal sound that lifts, you can feel it lifting as you hear it. So we'll play that shortly as well. Um,
Wonderful.
so my whole, at the moment, lots of paths that I'm on, but I really feel so fortunate to help people raise their frequency and vibration. Someone's having a really yucky time and not feeling positive and not tuning into the higher energies that we all need for 5G at the moment because the whole planet's changing. I use the music to help people lift their chakras, get the energy in balance, and feel part of the higher frequency and consciousness of this planet. Because I'm sure you're aware, Jane, that the planet's going through some massive, massive, massive shifts at the moment. The human resonance is the human resonance rather is really out of balance. It's been really high and really low. So the more we can keep ourselves, our body, our mind, our spirit in a really happy, balanced state, the better we'll cope with all the other stuff that happens day to day. And at the moment, we're all in a bit of a pickle, aren't we? We've all got stuff going on with
Mhm.
COVID, it's not all over yet. So if you can keep yourself in balance and restore and heal your energy and your flow, that's just what's needed right now. Absolutely what's
Mm.
needed.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
So would you like
I
me to
mean,
play a bit of a harp? Um,
that. Thank you.
I'll play a little sequence and I'll set an intention. There's no comments in the box yet, is there? Nobody's commented, but I think if I play something for everyone just to I have got the words let go, letting go as I came onto this interview. So I think I'll focus the energy on people being able to let go of stuff that's not serving them. So wherever you are, wherever you're thinking, whatever situation you're in, this music, these tones will help you to let go of stuff that's not serving you and not really so beneficial for everyone at the moment. That involves the sacral chakra, so I'll be tuning into the sacral chakra area within the sounds. Here we go. You can't really see me playing it. It's on my lap, but hopefully you can just imagine me playing it because it's too the hammer's too low.
We can hear it. It'll be wonderful. Thank you, Annette.
If you close your eyes, anybody's watching, and just take a couple of deep breaths in into your belly, and then release. One more into your belly. Hold it, and then release. When you hear the sounds, just imagine it's an energy going through your body and around your sacral chakra. It's just marching through, clearing out stuff that doesn't serve you, that's not helping you. And it's helping you to relax and feel happy, joyful, and positive at this time.
Well, gosh. Yeah, gosh, thank you so much. That was really, really beautiful and enchanting. Enchanting. I actually also have a harp, different to yours, more the regular shape of harp.
Yeah.
And mine is I haven't touched mine for 10 years. It's difficult to play, I know, but it's not a harp that I'm guessing you strum yours, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mine not one that you can strum.
You got to pluck
And
it.
yes, you've got to pluck it with your fingernails. It's wire strings.
Ah.
I guess, are yours wire? Is it yours wire strung?
Yeah, mine's a wire. They're
Wow. Yeah.
they are, but
Really?
the
Yeah.
beauty of the shape harp is, as you say, you can strum, so you can
Yes.
have a whole
It's true.
sequence with one hand.
Oh, yes, I see how
Um,
you did that. Yes.
so I kind of, and when I play, I haven't been taught how to play. Obviously, there's no lesson. You just do it intuitively. But the higher notes are, in my mind, so what we start with, they are the third eye, the throat, and the heart. So I work with them, and then the lower ones are for the root and the sacral for grounding. So I use the notes discerningly for the client that I'm with, and people just feel so much better. You feel, imagine having a 20-minute harp hearing in person. I can place it on their body if they're lying down.
Oh, yes.
The vibration actually touches them, so it's incredible, absolutely incredible. So I've had the harp for a number of years. I bought it from America, had it shipped over, and it's a beautiful part of what I do. But oh my gosh, I am in recent times I'm focusing, as you say, on frequency and helping people be in the right frequency and vibration for their ultimate health, their best health. So I had another channel in because I have ideas of what I want to expand on, whether it's art or music, and I knew that I had to find some crystal signs. And I googled it, and I went to Etsy, I went on eBay. I couldn't find any, and then finally found some. The last set of crystal signs in Russia. So I bought these.
Wow.
These are all attuned to the high frequencies of the harp, A, A, C, and B. So they're the most beautiful sounds. So I'm going to play a little bit now. Because what I do is I found a church that I can film in, and the interior of the church has such amazing acoustics that I'm really able
Yes.
to and film myself doing some sequences for healing to people with the harp, but also with the signs, because when you hear this in a moment, you'll understand that in church, my God, it's bonkers. It is right round the turret, the roof. It's just so beautiful. So this is a very new addition to my healing family. So I'll play a little bit randomly here. What I do is I have some angel music that I use in my workshops on my iPod. So I usually play that and then humping it with the chimes as well. Maybe I'll do a bit of that here actually, if that's okay.
Yeah.
You experience what I'm doing. Where are we? Let's find the right one. This is where technology is. Oh, here we go. There we go. No, it's not. This is the one. Here we go. Does that sound okay?
I'm not quite picking up the chimes so much.
Okay.
I think I don't want to spoil the moment, but I'm not hearing them so clearly. Oh yeah. Oh wow.
I guess you have to have the audio set perfect for that. We can't do it today, but that's another conversation.
Yes, it certainly is. Those
um,
are very beautiful. It's like hearing icicles being played. I mean that in a good way, but very sweet. And
yeah,
I'm
it
not
was,
sure that our audio is doing it justice, but I mean, very sweet and crystalline, of course, and very beautiful, very
yeah,
clear. Yeah.
it's so pure. So I'm going to record this week.
Yes.
They'll be available on my website to listen to some samples, whatever. So everyone can check out my website after if they're interested in the sound or the art. But it's such a beautiful. It's almost transforming sound. So you can feel
Mm,
really rubbish and not good, and listen to the chimes, and your whole body just elevates. You feel so lifted. So I'm so excited to help people shift from one stuck, stagnant energy to one of movement, joy, because joy is quite hard to find in this world at sometimes, isn't it, with what's going on, what's been going on. To help
mm,
people feel joy, that's such a gift, because when you're in a place of joy and your frequency is matching a higher frequency, you attract more positive stuff, you attract connections, friendships, experiences. It's just such a magical world when you know how to play the game. And the game
mm,
is all about frequency, thought, and connection to something that's outside of us as well as inside of us.
mm,
It's important to explore, as you know, with all the work you do, that you explore your own being, but then to reach out and just share it and expand it in an energetic way is so profound. It's just incredible.
yeah. Yeah. I think the way I tend to think of it is that, and it's a paradox, but so many of the spiritual things are a paradox, that we are both a tiny speck in the vast cosmos, but at the same time, the vast cosmos is contained within us. And these two things are happening all at the same time. And you can't explain it, but that is what it feels like when you're in that deep, profound moment of connection. It's both these things at the same time that shouldn't be able to exist at the same time, but somehow they do. And I think with your music and your art, you're assisting people to reach that state, you know, who um, either are beginning their journey or are refreshing their spiritual journey or deepening it in some way. And there's no doubt that that's what you're helping people to do. And that's all part of the healing process, really. That's all
Mhm.
part of the healing process. Um, we've talked a lot about what brought you to this point and what you're doing now. And I'm wondering where you go from here, what you have plans for to do in the future. I'm sure you have many plans and dreams for the future.
I have so much exciting openness to new. I just love new. I don't feel I'm blocked anywhere in life, so I'm always open to find new things and expand my awareness in all areas of life. And at the moment, I've just joined a community which is global, and anybody else is
Mhm.
welcome to join. It's not a financial thing. It's for light workers all around the world: Costa Rica, America, Mexico. They're everywhere. And they've all got gifts and talents to share with people, whether it's being healers, mindset, positive coaches, wellness people. They're just a multitude of amazing people. And we're all coming together to raise the consciousness of the planet and help heal people through um, investing, sharing, and healing people, places, and events. So, for example, I have an interest in sharing my words of wisdom and my understanding with Bob Proctor, the mindset coach, and just help people to connect with their mindset, their thoughts, because our thoughts are creating our experience. And that's really hard to hear that for me, especially as I've been through so much health wise and in divorce. You don't want to feel that you created that divorce, but your thoughts and your mindset are the basis for your experience in life. So to help people expand on, develop and improve and master their own thoughts and create what they want in their life, abundance in all areas. It might be money, it might be in relationships, it might be in health. That's my passion on a global scale. So I just joined this community called Universal Abundance. If anyone wants to know more about it, they can ask me. But it's just such a beautiful way of sharing the energy of positivity and healing with everyone. We do it on Zoom, on workshops, online, in person. There's a retreat next week in Costa Rica. I've been invited out to do some sound healing on the retreat. But of course, it just turned to an amber country, so I can't travel without coming back and being quarantined. And I also run so many art events. I don't want to be back here and not be able to work. So I'm not going. But in the future, when all this is over, anybody who wants to know more or join or be part of it, you can do retreats and share your gifts and share your understandings and just broaden your experience of life. Now, who does not want to do that? Who do that? To meditation, to whatever. I mean, Jane, you'd be amazing in my community, doing all your fantastic meditation journeys and experiences. You should share that. There's so much that we all have to offer.
Yes.
In every way. I mean, even life experience. The most amazing souls often haven't got a modality they teach or trained in. They just be, and in their presence, you feel that complete sense of wellness, improvement. It's just amazing. So that's my newest thing.
Nice.
I'm hopefully off to Bora Bora before Christmas to do a retreat if I'm allowed to fly. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, excuse me, that all sounds very exciting. So that's Universal Abundance.
Yes.
As the network or the forum for that.
Anywhere, everyone wants to check it out. But if anyone who wants to improve their life energetically, wellness-wise, positivity-wise, that's the place to be, because there's 1,000 million people like myself that all contribute and support each other.
Well, that sounds really fascinating. I must check that out myself and find out more about that. Yeah. It sounds like a great forum for all kinds of, as you say, all kinds of modalities and all sorts of wisdom and healing to be expressed and accessed as well. Well, thank you, Annette. It's been really beautiful talking to you and learning about your very beautiful and blessed work. And to hear the harp and the chimes, what an absolutely gorgeous thing to hear on this Sunday morning, Sunday lunchtime. Really what I think I needed to hear today. I feel so much better having heard that.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And to everyone who's watching, excuse me, you can find out more about Annette's work at her website, Annette O'Donnell Global.
Hyphen global.
Hyphen global. And I think you'll find out so much more, excuse me, about Annette's very beautiful work. And I think it remains for me to thank you very much indeed, Annette, for sharing all that with us, for letting us see some of your artwork, for hearing your music and in all its healing potential. So thank you so much. It's been great to talk to you today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's so nice to have someone to share it. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you, Annette, and I thank you, and I thank everyone who's watching, whether you've been watching live or you're watching on the replay. So this has been me, Jane Hill, with Annette O'Donnell as part of the Secret Spirit Conversations. Thanks for watching, and bye for now to everyone. Bye-bye.